right. Assuming we're recording. I hope so. Hello, my name is Tyler Good, and this is an economic analysis of Puerto Rico. So real quick, just an economic analysis. Prior to 2006, the United States gave tax breaks to Puerto Rico. What this means is that investing firms who were putting money into Puerto Rico and investing into the Puerto Rican economy, they were getting tax breaks, and so they were incentivized to really build up the economy of Puerto Rico. So it was doing really well. After 2006, the tax break program, which was implemented, was cut. So these investments stopped happening. So the economy of Puerto Rico actually started taking a pretty steady downturn due to its link to the United States, because Puerto Rico is actually a territory. It was hit just as hard with the Great Recession as pretty much the rest of the world, and especially the United States. While they do have their own economy and their own governing body, they do have that major link to the United States. Because of that, the unemployment rate hit 16% in 2011. In 2017, that was only dropped to 10.4%, and has not really made any major strides since then. The GDP of Puerto Rico has been on a downturn since 2015, and in 2017, Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, destroying a lot of the infrastructure, and so all these businesses, these homes, and everything were destroyed, causing some even more problems for Puerto Rico. Immigration of Puerto Ricans to the U.S. has also left the economy in a poor state. So as these Puerto Ricans are seeing that there's no more jobs because the businesses and everything are destroyed, and pretty much their homes are destroyed, they're looking for new opportunities in the United States, so they're leaving. And the GDP is currently at a pretty steady downturn of about 2.4%, which is not great. So government analysis, Puerto Rico has a very unique situation in that it is a territory of the United States, much like the Virgin Islands and Guam. This means that the Puerto Rican economy relies heavily on the decisions that are made in the United States, which is a problem and a good thing. So it's a good thing because the government of Puerto Rico is not having to sit there and try and solve their own problems. They have somebody else that's doing it for them. It's like getting somebody else to do your taxes for you. However, it's a pretty big problem because the United States the main government is trying to really make decisions for the mainland itself rather than Puerto Rico. So to counter this, the Puerto Rican Oversight, Management, and Economic Stability Act was passed in 2016, I believe, which developed an oversight board whose job was to really try and build back up the economy of Puerto Rico. However, since that time and up until this most recent July of 2019, there's a period of mismanagement within the government of Puerto Rico because the governor was found to be pretty much corrupt, and it was not doing much to actually help with the acts passed by Promesa. So he was removed from office, and now they have a new governor in there who hopefully will actually make some changes, and which is good because Puerto Rico actually shows a lot of promise. Most, if not all, of Puerto Ricans are bilingual. They speak both English and Spanish. And on top of that, they got about a 93% literacy rate, which is great because that means that they have a lot of opportunities to really progress in their education and get these higher up jobs and really come back and build the infrastructure and the economy of Puerto Rico. So environmental issues, as I stated before, Hurricane Maria left a major impact on the infrastructure of Puerto Rico. It destroyed a lot of businesses, destroyed a lot of homes, and so that, coupled with the pulling out of investments back in 2006, which they hadn't really truly recovered from since then, drove a lot of the Puerto Ricans to immigrate from Puerto Rico to the United States mainland in search for jobs. Unfortunately, though, there's a lot of Dominican citizens. Dominican Republic was hit by Hurricane Maria as well. really destroying a lot of their infrastructure. And so these Dominican citizens, because they're their own independent country, they're now trying to illegally immigrate to Puerto Rico, which is causing just a lot of lack of jobs, increasing the crime rate, and it's creating ghettos within the area. The Dominican Republic has shown, or like the illegal immigrants that are coming from the Dominican Republic, has shown a rise in prostitution, rise in drug trafficking, and things that just aren't good for a country in general. However, because all of these Puerto Ricans are leaving Puerto Rico and going to the mainland U.S., you're actually going to see an increase in that GDP per capita. Um, so the actual citizens of Puerto Rico are seeing a little bit more money coming their way. But again, because of this illegal immigration, it's still just not enough to really make a big difference. Moving on to trade, exports, and imports. Trade has, in recent years, since 2006, greatly boosted the economy of Puerto Rico. Many imports include oil, medicine, propane, gasoline, electronic diagnostic devices for cars, auto parts, and airplane parts. And in total, this brings or costs Puerto Rico about $49 billion each year. Now, exports, on the other hand, they are exporting eye drops, contacts, immunological products, and insulin accounts. And as well, on top of that, something kind of interesting is they actually produce a lot of prosthetic limbs for export as well. So these exports bring in $79 billion. So the difference between imports and exports is showing about a $30 billion difference, which is causing a pretty good trade surplus for Puerto Rico, which is benefiting them. But again, I got to go back to the fact that they had this corrupt government that was kind of mismanaging all the money that they were getting while there was this oversight board. This corrupt government was kind of not really able to take that $30 million surplus and really put that back towards the economy itself. So the trade partners, so the United States is the number one trade partner for Puerto Rico. They account for over 58% of its trade. They do a lot of their style of trade is a lot of fair trade, so they are trading fairly, giving the country of Puerto Rico for what it's worth, everything that it's trading out. To kind of split up exactly how much money the U.S. and Puerto Rico are exchanging. So Puerto Rico is purchasing about $27 billion worth of imports and exporting $18 billion of exports with the United States. And then other countries which Puerto Rico trades with include Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, Spain, and United Kingdom. So moving on to causes of poverty. The main cause of poverty is and lack of economic development is Hurricane Maria in 2017, which again stacked on top of that 2006 pullout of this investment into the Puerto Rican economy. So a hurricane came into an already struggling economy and destroyed a lot of these businesses, a lot of these homes, causing a lot of problems. Along with that, you're seeing a lot of these illegal immigrants coming in from the Dominican Republic, which has just in general increased the crime rates and caused a deterioration of general living conditions in the area. So my greatest recommendation is just to put a little bit more towards the PROMESA program. PROMESA hasn't really been able to do as much as it could do because of this mismanaged government. The impacts that PROMESA can have on the economy of Puerto Rico could be major. And that is their job, is to come up with these different policies to really try and bring in a little bit more money to create jobs. And further moving forward on that to really develop it, I would almost recommend to bring back those tax breaks, so that way you have more businesses more willing to invest in the Puerto Rican economy to really bring more in. Because you could clearly see that prior to 2006, the economy of Puerto Rico was thriving through tourism and trade and all these things that they had because of these investments, this money coming in pretty consistently. So serving the impoverished in the area, I believe that tax breaks, first of all, would be a major part in really dropping the unemployment rates, by creating these jobs, because you have more money that's coming in, building these businesses back up. Um, and hopefully, as a result, this would decrease the crime rate. As Christians, it's our job to serve and to love others, to love our neighbors. Jesus called on us to do this in Matthew 39. Whenever he was talking about the greatest two commandments. First one is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. Second one is to love your neighbor as yourself. And that is so important in what we can do as a country. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to go across and help out Puerto Rico, because they are a territory. And I think that is something that we really have kind of struggled to really do as Christians, and to really help our neighbors right there next to us help out. Not to mention, Puerto Rico is a beautiful place. Might as well go help out in a beautiful area. So in conclusion, the economy in Puerto Rico has been in a downturn since 2006, and then was hit even harder with Hurricane Maria. Um, with a new change in leadership, it's possible that the economy could see some major strides in the next few years. Immigration issues have pretty much have stricken the island in a way that it just has not benefited anything. It's really caused even more problems than it's gained. However, one benefit that is coming in is the fact that there's this $30 billion trade surplus that Puerto Rico is seeing each year. So there is still hope for the Puerto Rican economy. As I mentioned before, there's the literacy rate. Practically every single citizen is bilingual. And I believe that with Promesa, there are great strides that have already been taken to try and improve the economy. And now that they're going to have a new governing body, it's possible that we could also see some massive improvements coming along. And finally, this isn't on the slide, but it's very important as Christians for us to really make an effort to serve those who are in need, and that is a major part of it. Here are my references. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. As soon as I can figure out exactly how to